The train hissed to a stop. Alexei stepped onto the platform 30 minutes before the city woke up for work. Frost clung to the metal railings. His breath came out in sharp white clouds. He dialed Oksana before the cold could bite through his coat. "Good morning, Oksana." His voice was warm, automatic, the same tone he'd used every trip for 3 years. "Just got here. Heading to their office soon. You awake yet?" A sleepy laugh on the other end. "Hey, Lyosha. Barely. Slept like crap. Getting up now? Coffee? Then running to work. I'll call you tonight. Around 9, before bed. Good luck out there." "You too." He hung up, stared at the dead screen for 2 seconds, and felt the first crack. She never called him Lyosha anymore. Not in the last year. Only when she was pretending everything was fine. "Nana!" He slid the phone into his pocket and walked to the customer's office anyway. Habit, duty, whatever you want to call it. The receptionist looked up, confused. "You're early." "I was told it was urgent." She disappeared into the director's office. 5 minutes later, she came back. "He'll see you now." The director didn't stand. He just pointed at the chair. Alexei handed over the printed emails and the 2 official claim letters. "Your deputy blew up our phones for a week, threatened lawsuits, said we were delaying the entire project." The director rubbed his temples. "Our deputy is currently in a detox ward catching imaginary mice. Equipment hasn't even been ordered. The building it's supposed to go into is still a hole in the ground. You came for nothing. We'll pay for the wasted trip. Come back in 2 months." Alexei nodded once. No anger. Just the hollow feeling of a day that had already gone sideways. By 8:45, he was back on the platform, ticket refunded, battery icon blinking red. He forgot to charge the phone last night. On purpose or not, he wasn't sure. 6:58 p.m. The key turned in the lock of their 2-bedroom apartment in the city center. Silence. Lights off. No smell of food. No heels kicked off by the door. Oksana wasn't home. He told himself she was working late. Told himself a lot of things. He plugged the phone in, opened the fridge, took out the chicken she liked, started slicing onions. The knife moved faster than his thoughts. Table set for 2 by 8:05. Candles. He almost lit candles, then didn't. Too pathetic. 8:57 p.m. The phone rang. Her name on the screen. He let it ring 4 times. Answered. "Hi." His voice flat. "Hey, babe." She sounded relaxed, cozy, already in pajamas. "You settled in the hotel?" "Yeah, everything's fine." "You eat yet?" "Grabbed something?" A soft laugh. "I just finished dinner. Climbing into bed now. Long day tomorrow. Night, Lyosha." Night, Lyosha. He set the phone down like it burned him. The apartment was dead quiet except for the refrigerator hum. He walked to the kitchen, no dirty mug in the sink. Bedroom, bed made, pillows untouched. She had never come home. He stood in the dark hallway and felt 3 years collapse into one single sentence inside his head. She is with him right now. The realization wasn't loud. It was surgical, cold, final. He opened the closet, his shirts on the left, hers on the right. He started pulling his out, folding nothing, just dropping them into the big black duffel he once used for installations in the field. Computer, tools, passport, the spare hard drive with all their photos. He left it, let her keep the memories. Phone buzzed, 1 bar of battery. He scrolled to a contact he hadn't opened in years. Victoria picked up on the second ring. "Who is this?" "Alexei." A low whistle. "Well, damn. Been a while. Still married to the Ice Queen?" "She's not home." Pause. Then Victoria's voice dropped, all games gone. "She called you 5 minutes ago and told you she's in bed, right?" His throat closed. "Yeah. She's in bed, all right. Just not yours. Andrei Nikolaivich's wife left for her mother's yesterday. Dying, supposedly. House is empty till Friday. Guess who's keeping the boss warm? 4 years. The number hit him like a punch behind the eyes. "Why the hell didn't you tell me?" His voice cracked. "I wasn't 100% sure back then. Now I watch them every day. They're sloppy. They think no one notices." A sharp laugh. I've been waiting for the perfect moment to burn that bastard down. Looks like tonight's the night. I'm not going over there. Didn't ask you to. Just thought you should know before you waste another second of your life on her. He zipped the bag. Thanks. One more thing, Victoria said. Get your stuff out before noon tomorrow. I'm looping his wife in. Ekaterina Ivanovna is motivated. When she lands, your Oksana's little vacation ends in fireworks. He ended the call, looked around the apartment one last time. 3 years, and everything he owned fit into 2 trips. He dragged the first bag to the door, then stopped. Took his key off the ring, laid it on the counter next to her untouched coffee machine. He didn't slam the door. He closed it softly, like a man leaving a funeral. 10:42 p.m. Victoria's apartment. She poured herself a vodka, neat, and dialed the number she'd saved under "Do not answer unless ready to destroy everything." It rang once. Ekaterina Ivanovna? It's Victoria, your husband's secretary. A sharp intake of breath on the other end. Yes. He's not alone. Hasn't been for 2 nights. Oksana from the estimates department is keeping him very comfortable. She thinks her husband is out of town until Friday. Silence, then ice cold. Text me the address. I'll be on the morning train. Victoria smiled into the glass. Already done. And Ekaterina Ivanovna? Bring comfortable shoes. It's going to be a show. She hung up, raised the vodka in a toast to the empty room. Burn, baby. Burn. The reckoning in the steam. The sauna room was still thick with heat when the 4 of them stepped out of the Parilka, laughing, skin red and shining, eyes glassy from the first bottle of champagne. Andrei Nikolaevich led the way, naked and proud, belly slightly round from too many corporate dinners. Arkady followed, shorter, thinner, trying to match the boss's swagger. Oksana and Anna trailed behind, sheets clutched loosely around their bodies, giggling like teenagers who'd gotten away with something. The main lights were off. Only the dim blue underwater LEDs glowed in the pool. Andrei took 1 step forward, then froze. Across the pool, the overhead flood snapped on. Harsh white surgical light that killed every shadow. Ekaterina Ivanovna sat dead center on the wooden bench, legs crossed, phone in hand recording. To her left, Konstantin, Anna's husband, arms folded, face carved from stone. To her right, Svetlana, Arkady's wife, eyes red but dry, clutching a thick envelope. Behind them all, Andrei's own parents, gray-haired, silent, ashamed. Andrei's mouth opened. Nothing came out. Anna screamed first, a short animal sound, and bolted back toward the changing room. Oksana followed a half-second later. The sheets slipped. They caught them at the last second, clutching fabric to their chests like armor. The changing room was empty. Every stitch of clothing, dresses, lingerie, suits, socks, gone. Konstantin spoke first, voice low, lethal. Anna, don't bother coming home from your business trip. Anna stumbled back into the doorway, sheet trembling in her fists. Kostya, wait. Please. You don't understand. He laughed once, bitter and short. Oh, I understand perfectly. Naked corporate planning session, right? With champagne and a heated pool. Real professional. Anna's knees buckled. We can talk. There's nothing to talk about. He looked at Ekaterina Ivanovna. Send me the video later. I'll need it when her family tries to blame me for the divorce. He turned and walked out. The door slammed like a gunshot. Silence. Then Andrei found his voice. Katya, come on. This is insane. What do you want? Money? A new car? Name it. Ekaterina stood slowly. Designer coat, perfect hair, zero warmth in her eyes. I want 3 things. She counted on manicured fingers. 1. You leave this house tonight and never come back. 2. We divorce. My lawyer files tomorrow. 3. You are no longer CEO as of this second. You will hand everything to the chief engineer in the morning. Andrei's face went purple. You can't fire me. This company is mine, she cut in. Registered in my name before we married. You were just the face. Cute, useful, disposable. She smiled without humor. You came to me naked 4 years ago, bragging about your connections. You're leaving the same way." He took a step toward her. "My clothes are upstairs. Already in the trash dumpster by the gate, soaked in pool water. Enjoy." Arkady tried next, voice cracking. "Katerina Ivanovna, I have a family, kids." "You had a family," Svetlana said quietly. She hadn't raised her voice once. "You'll come for your things Friday. Call first. After that, the locks are changed and everything else goes to the curb." Arkady opened his mouth, closed it, sat down hard on the wet tile like someone had kicked his legs out from under him. Andrei's father finally spoke, old voice shaking with rage. "You called us useless ballast, remember? 2 months ago, drunk on the phone. Said we were leeches. Well, son, looks like the ballast is all you've got left." His mother just stared at the floor. Oksana stepped forward, sheet knotted tight, trying to keep some dignity. "May I go?" Ekaterina's gaze landed on her like a slap. "Of course. You're fired too. Pick up your papers tomorrow. Reason. At the founder's discretion." Oksana's phone and wallet were still in her purse on the bench. Ekaterina hadn't touched those. She grabbed them with shaking hands, found Anna sobbing in the corner, and yanked her up. "Come on, I'm calling a cab." Anna whimpered. "Do I still have a job tomorrow?" Ekaterina answered for her. "You have a desk to clear. After that, no." They wrapped the damp sheets tighter, barefoot, and walked out into the freezing night. The taxi pulled up 10 minutes later. The driver did a double take at 2 women in nothing but white sheets, mascara streaked, hair wet. "You ladies okay?" "Just drive," Oksana snapped. In the back seat, Anna cried without sound, shoulders shaking. Oksana stared out the window, calculating. "Good thing Alexei's still out of town until Friday," she muttered. "I'll tell him I switched jobs. He'll never have to know." The cab turned onto the main road. Streetlights strobed across their faces. They reached the apartment building at 11:47 p.m. Oksana paid. They ran through the lobby, up the stairs, sheets trailing like surrender flags. Key in the lock. Door opened. The apartment was dark. She flicked the light. Empty hangers in the hallway where his jackets used to be. Kitchen counter bare. No coffee machine, no keys, no note. Bedroom closet, his side cleaned out. Not a single sock left. Anna stopped crying. "Oksana?" Oksana walked to the dresser, opened his drawer. Empty except for one thing. Their wedding photo, face down. She turned it over. On the back, in his neat engineer handwriting, "I was home tonight. You weren't." Oksana sank into the kitchen chair and finally let herself break. Anna hovered in the doorway, clutching the borrowed robe Oksana had given her. "He knows?" "He knows everything." Oksana's voice was hollow. "And he's already gone." Her phone screen lit the dark kitchen, 28 missed calls, all from her. She started typing with shaking thumbs. "Please answer. It was a mistake. I'm quitting tomorrow. I'll fix this. Send." The message stayed on delivered. Never switched to read. Across town, in the quiet motel on the highway, Alexei's phone buzzed once on the nightstand. He looked at the screen, thumb hovering, then pressed the power button and held it until the screen went black. Outside, snow started to fall. The open-plan office went dead quiet the second Ekaterina Ivanovna walked in wearing black from head to toe. No one had ever seen the founder on the floor before 9:30, let alone on a Thursday. She didn't waste words. "Arkady Petrovich is no longer Director of Public Relations. Effective immediately. Victoria will take over the department. Questions? Direct them to her." 30 heads turned to Victoria. She widened her eyes in perfectly rehearsed shock, then gave a small professional nod. Inside, she was grinning like a cat who'd eaten the whole cage of canaries. 10 minutes later, Arkady shuffled in, unshaven, eyes bloodshot, carrying a cardboard box with his dying ficus and 3 framed photos of his kids. He didn't look at anyone. Victoria's new office, his old office, was already being cleared for her. Oksana passed the glass door to the estimates department at 8:59, face pale, hair pulled back so tight it looked painful. She didn't stop to talk. Anna followed 5 minutes later, mascara already smudged, clutching a plastic bag with her personal things. By 9:15, the entire building knew every detail of last night. Someone had already uploaded 30-second clips to the local Telegram channels. 2 women in bedsheets running to a taxi. Arkady sitting naked on the pool tiles. Andrei's mother dragging him by the ear like a 10-year-old. The city was eating it alive. 11:12 a.m., Legal Aid office downtown. Alexei stood in the crowded hallway that smelled of wet coats and cheap coffee. The line moved like molasses. Directly in front of him, 2 women, one crying quietly, the other holding her hand. The non-crying one turned. Early 30s, dark blonde hair, tired green eyes. Pretty in a real way. No filters, no pretense. "You too?" she asked. "Divorce," Alexei said. "Same. My sister." She tilted her head toward the crying one. "I'm Natalia. Moral support." The sister blew her nose. "He told me he was on a business trip. Some woman called and invited me to his boss's house. Private sauna, pool, the works. I walked in on all 4 of them naked." Alexei felt the floor tilt. "I know the place," he said quietly. "My wife was one of the 4. Natalia's eyes widened. "You're him. The one who didn't show up." "Guilty." The sister, Svetlana, looked up, red-eyed. "You did the right thing. I wish my husband had stayed home, too." They called Svetlana in. Natalia stayed in the hallway with Alexei. "She'll fight for the house," Natalia said. "He makes noises about improvements he paid for. But the land was our parents'. Kids are 16 and 17. They told him last night not to come back. Ever." Alexei nodded. "My wife and I have no kids, no house. Just a quick stamp at the registry office and it's over." "Lucky you," Natalia said, then winced. "Sorry, that sounded mean." "It is lucky," he said. "Clean cut." Svetlana came out 20 minutes later, calmer, paperwork in hand. Natalia hugged her, promised to call later, walked out into the rain with Alexei. Rain turned to sleet the second they stepped outside. "Great," she muttered, pulling her coat tighter. "No umbrella." "There's a cafe across the street," Alexei said. "Come on. My treat." She hesitated exactly 2 seconds. "Okay, but only because I'm freezing." Inside, warm light, soft jazz, the smell of fresh bread. They took a table by the window. Natalia kept her coat on at first, then relaxed. She ordered the cheapest salad on the menu. Alexei quietly upgraded everything when the waitress came. Grilled salmon for her, steak for him, a bottle of decent Rioja. Natalia raised an eyebrow when the wine arrived. "Celebrating the end of marriages?" "Surviving them," he corrected. They talked. First about Spain. He'd spent a summer there on a project. She'd always wanted to see Barcelona. Then about work, parents, the way the city had changed. She laughed at his stories. He liked the way she listened, like she actually heard him. The rain stopped. The bottle was empty. Outside, her heel snapped clean off. "Of course," she laughed, embarrassed. He flagged a cab, paid before she could argue, rode with her to her building. An old 5-story walk-up, paint peeling, intercom broken. At the entrance, she turned. "I don't usually invite strangers up on the first non-date." "This wasn't a date," he said. "Thank God. I'm terrible at those." She smiled. "Phone." He typed his number into hers. "Tomorrow night," he said. "New play at the theater. Premiere. I have 2 tickets. Be ashamed to waste the second one." Meh. She looked at him for a long moment, weighing something. "I finish work at 5:30. Pick me up here at 6? 6 sharp." Saturday night. The theater. Every local businessman was there. Some with wives, some with 25-year-old assistants wearing too much perfume. The lobby buzzed. Alexei walked in wearing the only good suit he still owned. Natalia on his arm in a simple black dress that made her look like she belonged on a magazine cover. Heads turned, phones came out. Within 90 seconds, the rumor hit Oksana's inbox from 3 different co-workers. "Your husband is here with a gorgeous blonde. They look very happy." Oksana sat alone in the empty apartment, wine glass shaking in her hand. She opened the theater's live Instagram story. There they were. Alexei leaning down to say something in the blonde's ear, the woman laughing, touching his arm. Oksana's first instinct was to storm in, scream, make a scene. Her second instinct, the one that had kept her alive in corporate politics, was colder. Not yet. First, she needed a new job. Then she would decide how to get him back. She set the glass down, opened her laptop, and started searching vacancy sites. The cursor blinked like a countdown. Sunday, 9:03 p.m., motel room. Alexei's phone rang. Unknown number. He almost ignored it, then saw the country code and answered. Alexei, it's Maria Vladimirovna, your attorney. Sorry, I was at the theater. Phone was off. Perfect timing. Tomorrow morning, 10:30, cafe next to the registry office. Your wife has agreed to sign the mutual consent divorce. One form, 1 month, done. No court, no fight. He sat down hard on the edge of the bed. She agreed? She has no leverage left. Everyone saw the video. She knows it. Be there at 10:30. Bring a pen. He hung up, stared at the dark screen for a long time. Then he opened a new message to Natalia. Still on for Saturday? Dinner after the play? 3 dots appeared immediately. Wouldn't miss it. He exhaled, something loosening in his chest for the first time in days. Across town, Oksana stared at the same registry office address the attorney had just texted her. Tomorrow at 10:30 she would sit across from the man she'd lied to for 4 years and sign her name on the line that ended everything. She practiced the signature in the air with her finger, over and over, until it stopped shaking. Café Utro, 2 doors down from the registry office. Alexei sat at the corner table, back to the wall, fresh white shirt, no wedding ring. He had arrived 20 minutes early on purpose. He wanted to watch her walk in. Oksana appeared at 10:28. She had lost weight in 6 days, cheeks hollow, eyes red at the edges, hair in a severe knot. She wore the gray coat he'd bought her 2 winters ago. It hung looser now. She spotted him immediately, hesitated, then walked over. Hi, she said, voice small. Did you order anything for me? Coffee or something to eat? Something to eat. I'll pay for mine. He almost smiled at the absurdity. It's on me. She sat opposite him. The waitress came. Oksana ordered a croissant and an espresso. Alexei already had black coffee cooling in front of him. Silence for 30 seconds. I saw you at the theater, she said finally. With her. I know. Already replacing me? Moving on. There's a difference. She looked down at the table. You got thin, too. Hard to eat when your wife is naked in another man's sauna. The words landed flat and brutal. Oksana flinched but didn't argue. The food arrived. She picked at the croissant. Alexei, I'm sorry. I know that word means nothing now, but I am. I believe you're sorry it blew up. I don't believe you're sorry it happened. She opened her mouth, closed it. He leaned forward. 4 years, Oksana. 4. I was the safe guy who paid the bills while you played house with the boss. That's not a mistake. That's a second life. Tears welled. She didn't let them fall. The waitress dropped the check. Alexei slid 100 across the table without looking. They walked the 40 steps to the registry office in total silence. Inside, the clerk was cheerful, oblivious. Mutual consent. Wonderful. Sign here. And here. Initials there. Done. Come back in exactly 30 days for the certificate. Congratulations on the new chapter. Oksana's pen shook so hard the clerk had to steady the page. Outside again. Cold wind off the river. She turned to him on the sidewalk. Alexei, please. You were the only good thing I ever had. I know I destroyed it. I just... Forgive me if you can. I already forgave you, he said quietly. Forgiveness doesn't mean I stay. She swallowed. What will you do? Live, work, maybe love someone who doesn't lie to my face every day. A tear finally escaped. Take me off block? Just in case I need to ask something stupid about documents? He pulled out his phone, opened her contact, removed the block. Done. Thank you. She tried a broken smile. There's a project estimating office across the street. They're hiring. Same salary I had. Tell the director Alexei sent you. I will. They stood there another 5 seconds. Two strangers who once shared a bed, a toothbrush cup, a future. Then he walked left. She walked right. Neither looked back. Epilogue. 7 months later. Natalia's apartment smelled of paint and baby powder. Alexei came home from work, kicked off his boots, found her on the couch folding tiny onesies. "Hi, Daddy," she said, grinning. He kissed her, then the small swell under her sweater. Victoria now ran half the company and still turned down every marriage proposal that dared mention cooking or laundry. Ekaterina Ivanovna fired her ex-husband's name from every plaque in the building and never remarried. Andrei drank himself into a hospital bed for 3 weeks. When he got out, the divorce was final, and the company was no longer his. He moved into his parents' spare room. They charged him rent. Svetlana married a quiet widower who fixed the leaky faucet the first week he moved in. Her new husband kissed her goodnight every single evening. Arkady fixed pipes for a living now, drank only on Fridays, and lived with the night guard from the old factory. They watched soccer together and argued about whose turn it was to buy beer. And somewhere across the city, in a small registry office, 2 names were officially severed. The clerk stamped the final paper, smiled, and said the same thing she said to every couple. "Congratulations on your new chapter." This time, both of them actually meant it.